Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to recreate this look inspired by Tim Burton's Dr. Finkelstein from The Nightmare Before Christmas. So the first thing I decided to do was create my props or prosthetics. I'm going to start with the mouthpiece, and to do that, I took a piece of craft foam and I drew out the shape, then cut this out for the top and bottom piece of the mouth. I love working with craft foam when possible because it's very lightweight, easy to bend and manipulate into the shape and size I'm going for. The color doesn't matter because we're going to paint right over it later on. So once both pieces are cut out, it should look something like this, kind of like a duck. Then using that same foam, I'm going to cut out smaller pieces to add on the shape of the nose and teeth. I'm using Scotch tape to keep the pieces together. Again, this is another favorite of mine that you probably have on hand that you can use to easily create affordable props. Once my pieces are ready, I'm going to start putting them together. So this is a mold that I actually made of my face. You can easily do this also if you'd like, or you can just apply it directly onto your face. I find that a lot of prosthetic or prop making is easier using a mold of your face rather than placing it directly on your face. It just gives you more freedom to work with, especially if a piece takes longer or needs time overnight to dry, etc. I'll have more information on how to make your own in the description box if you guys are interested. Once I have all the pieces in the place that I would like, I'm going to cover the entire foam piece or pieces in the Scotch tape to smooth out the texture, but it also makes the latex and paint easier to hold onto rather than placing it directly onto the foam, because the foam kind of soaks up the liquids. The tape creates sort of a barrier, but also more of a skin-like texture. So once everything is completely covered in the tape, I'm then going to apply liquid latex over everything and allow this to dry. And then I started to add the paint. So this is what my mouthpiece turned out to be so far. I did about 3 layers of latex originally and then used the acrylic paint to do the detail and coloring. And then I also sealed it with 2 more layers over top with more latex just to keep or help prevent the paint from cracking and separating. And then I'll go in once it's applied with more detail to make the edges more seamless and to finish up the nose. For the glasses, I'm gonna cut up these are really janky looking shapes to get the idea of placement and sizing before I finish up cutting them, but this is just to show you guys what it's kind of going to look like. So I'm going to shorten these and thin these out, and I'll probably actually make these a little bit smaller once it's on my face, but once everything is starting to come together, I'll actually glue it together in place. So for the skull cap, I just took a piece of poster board from Dollar Tree and cut off a big rectangular piece of it. And then, you can see I already started it. I just cut slits all the way around it like this, and then started to overlap them, and just used hot glue right quick to glue them down. So it creates this little circular shape. So it's gonna be more of an illusion. It's super lightweight, so it's perfect for what I'm trying to go for, but you can see it's starting to take shape there. And that's what's gonna be on the back of my noggin, looking like the top of his head. And then I cut off another strip and glued it to the back of a little bent piece on that circular little bowl piece we just made. And I just used bobby pins in the front. Let's cut right there until I figure out the exact placement and sizing. And then I'll just glue it once I'm ready to secure it around my brain. The brain was also super easy to make. I just use a mold and liquid latex. I have an in-depth tutorial on how I did this in another video that I will put in the description box. If you want more information on that, you can check that out. But this is the brain prosthetic that we will be putting into the cardboard headpiece later on. So once my props are pretty much ready, I'm now ready to begin the makeup and application. If you've seen my special effects videos, then you already know this technique. This is the cheapest and easiest way to create a bald cap. I'm just going to use a bunch of saran wrap and more of the masking tape to completely cover my hair and create a base to work off of. This is going to protect my hair, my skin. Once the saran wrap is ready and in place, I'm taking that tape right at the edges to make this more seamless, keeping the saran wrap in place, but also making it easier to blend the prosthetic with my skin. Now we're ready to apply the headpiece. So you're going to need your brain prosthetic and your cardstock. You're going to place this over top of your head and kind of just adjust this till it feels right or looks right. Once you adjust the size of the band, you can remove the bobby pins that are holding it together and just glue to secure this in place. Then again, taking some of that tape, I'm placing this on the edges of that headpiece just to help blend that and also to help cover my ears. Now moving on to the makeup application, I'm first taking a washable glue stick and covering my brows. I'm also going to place some of this right over top the edges of the tape. Using the washable glue stick just helps to soften and blend out the texture and makes it a lot easier to conceal the eyebrow hair. Then right over top that, I'm just going to lightly dust some translucent powder and then apply my full coverage concealer right over top. Depending on how thick your hair or eyebrows are, you may need to do this in a couple layers, but I honestly don't naturally have that much, so it didn't take long for those to be covered. Then to blend out the edges of the skull cap, I'm using more liquid latex right on the edge to help bind this together with my skin, making it look like it's all one piece, or like my actual head. Then continuing with that liquid latex, I'm bringing this up onto the band of the skull cap to help give it more of that skin-like texture. It makes it a lot easier to apply product to and to mimic the same texture that my real skin has. Keep in mind, you always want to apply very light layers. You can always add more once each layer is dry. Once the liquid latex is dry, you can go back in with more concealer or foundation, whatever you have that's full coverage, again to help blend this out. I ended up using a color that is much lighter than my natural skin tone to help better match the character. And I didn't apply this all over my face because the mouthpiece is going to be covering this. If you want to apply the mouthpiece first and then do the foundation, that's also fine. To get the mouthpiece to adhere to my face, I'm using more liquid latex and placing this underneath and along the edges to help this adhere, but also to blend. Just be patient with this and allow it to dry. You can also use like a little fan or something to help it dry faster. While this dries, I'm going to use my other hand and start to take my black body paint to create the illusion of a smaller neck and body. So this is just going to help me blend into the background basically. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm just kind of working around the prosthetic here to allow it the time to dry. Then same thing, using the liquid latex, I'm going to apply the nose right over top. So it did take me a couple layers to get the black paint to be as opaque as I needed it. Again, just let that dry in between to let that color build up. But you can start to see my neck and shoulders are kind of fading into the background here, giving that super Tim Burton style skinny neck. Using that black paint, I also placed this over the top of my ears because the character has very tiny ears. So I'm just gonna let the bottom, like my earlobes, show through, and then have the top portion of my ears blend into the background. Now I'm going to use that black paint and place this on the inside of the fake mouth. So right over top my real mouth and skin that's inside the prosthetic, which again, you can do this prior if you want. That's up to you. But that's going to create depth on the inside of the mouth. Now using a darker beige body paint, I'm going to start creating the detail on the face and kind of like the wrinkles that he makes. This also helps create shadow and again more depth, giving it more realistic look. And I almost forgot, I used the black paint and just put 2 little black dots here to create the nose holes. Now for the glasses, I'm going to take those foam pieces that I cut out earlier and I'm going to apply these using more liquid latex. These are sitting more forward on my face. They're actually kind of like sitting right at the edge of that mouthpiece I made. So they're not directly over my eyes. I can actually still see around them, especially my peripheral. So it helps you to see, but it also keeps the glasses in place by resting it over top that prosthetic. Then for the sides of the glasses and the middle nose piece, again, I just placed that right over top my face using liquid latex. While those adhered to my face, I then continued with the black paint on my arms and then filled in my body and neck with white paint. Because of the latex dry times, I do kind of work back and forth. Again, I mentioned this prior, but I am painting different areas while I'm waiting for latex to dry, just to be proactive and complete the look faster. So I am kind of like all over the place, but bear with me. It's just a lot of the same steps repeated until the latex is dry. Moving back to the facial expressions and wrinkles, just using more of that beige and some gray paint on the forehead here. And then I just finished off with the other side of the glasses, and this look is complete. So that's everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram for more day-to-day updates. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to make sure you're still subscribed to my channel so you never miss a new video.